All right, we are live. So it's demo time for IndieWebCamp Online 2019. So how we can go ahead and do this is if you guys want to go ahead and just type your names into the Google Hangouts little chat on the side, so we can get an order of people to do the demos, so we know kind of who to pass it to next. I'll go ahead and get started, and you guys can start putting your names in there in an order while I'm doing that. So I worked on AutoAuth, which is a new spec that is being discussed for being able to have a social reader get private posts on the behalf of the person who's using the reader. So if I want to see private posts from, say, Jackie's website, then I should be able to tell my reader to go fetch posts from his website and let his website know that it's actually a request from me and not from some generic server. So I started working on that, and I did not get it finished, but it was the Google Hangouts of Death Echo. All right, here we go. So yeah, I did not get it finished, but I was able to get it started, and part of that was making sure that my authorization screen, when this is obviously kind of faked. Quill is not actually requesting this for me, but I did add the scope. So allow a third-party application to request the ability to read other people's content. And technically, the technical part of that is request underscore external token :read for now. That's still potentially changed in the future, but I went ahead and added that nice thing so I can approve or deny that scope, which would then pass it back to in the token to the app, and then they can go ahead and reach out to my website to move it forward. And I got some stuff on that finished, but definitely not completely finished. The other thing that I did was along the same lines, which was I have a fake post that actually this might be the one. Yeah, here we go. So this is actually a post, but it doesn't look like it because I'm not logged in. But I went ahead and tested masquerading as being different people's URLs logged in, and it only shows to the people who it has been added to. So I've kind of got some protection on one side and some scopes on the other. So now I'm just working on everything in the middle. But yeah, I will stop sharing my screen so that doesn't create the echo effect. Alrighty, and that is me. So next up is Gregor.
I think Sven was going to go, actually, after you.
Oh, did not see that. Oh, there it is. All right, you're up next, Sven.
1 second. Okay, interesting. For some reason, the screen share doesn't want to find the app I want to show. But anyways, I don't really have anything to show. I just worked on the AutoAuth specification. So change the structure so it's clear which part does what, and cleaned up a lot of small mistakes and changes. And I added documentation for how to do it with a client that can't register a callback URL, for instance, a browser extension. So they can now use, there's also now specified a polling mode. So they can just every few seconds ask for an update and get the information that way.
Awesome. And that was actually very useful in me doing my work. So thank you, Sven. Awesome. So then next up would be Gregor.
All right, let me see if screen share works for me here. Is that showing up?
Yep, looks good.
Cool. So at IndieWebCamp Austin, I started work on this photo gallery. I followed a tutorial which helped a lot, and that used CSS variables, which was really cool to learn all that. But I've been working on making it also work in IE 11, and I'm about 90% there. So basically, I updated it. I added on hover captions. So you hover over them, you see captions now. I moved away from CSS variables just so it'll work in more browsers. So it actually resizes, maintains the ratio. At least if you have CSS grid, it does. In IE 11, it kind of falls back to like basically they're taller columns. They don't remain square. They're rectangles. And then when you get down to below 600 pixels wide, it collapses. And it also makes it full width, so there's no margins on the sides. So yeah, that's my demo.
Awesome. Looks good.
Thanks.
Next up is Martine.
Yeah, let's see if I can do a screen share. Application Google. Right, does that work?
Yep.
Cool. So we were discussing a couple of things yesterday at the profile section, the profile session, and one of the things I like to do was an Ask Me Anything page, but instead I decided while talking on the session to turn it around. And so instead of having people ask me a question, I want them to answer the question. So just if you have an assumption about me, you can send it in and I can mark it as either a correct or an incorrect assumption. Right now, there are 4 assumptions in here, so you'd have to click quite a lot of times. Oh, there's another one. Quite a lot of times to see all of them. But hopefully I can get some more people to write some assumptions, and then I can mark them as either correct or incorrect, and they'll show up here. Yeah, I think that's just what I did this afternoon. So just a fun little side project.
That's awesome. Alrighty, next up is Doug.
Okay, so I started out, let's see, going through and kind of updating gardening, seeing what I could get rid of in the way of bugs. So I hit about, I don't know, 10 or 20 bugs and generated a slew more. And in the process, found a bug in OmniBear, which it was not clearing out the list of syndication since the Bridgie Publish WordPress plugin is now obsolete. So when I disabled that, the OmniBear continued to use the old syndication name, which of course it wouldn't understand with it disabled. So I went bug hunting with that and kind of tracked it down, but then there's some weird behavior in the Chrome extension where it should be clearing it, but it's not really. It kind of looks like some weird threading issue, but couldn't find much with that. So I have a potential fix, but it doesn't work. So, and then after that, I updated some log notices with the new line numbers, seeing if they were still there. And then I limited the number of tags that display. There used to be a huge, ugly list, and now it's a short, ugly list. And then I also started adding microformats markup to my Hugo podcast site, but I'm currently in some module hell, so I can't actually deploy it. So there's nothing to show there.
That is hack days, isn't it? Things
Yep.
not quite going the way you want. I understand that. Awesome. Jackie's up next.
Full disclosure, I might say go randomly because my dog keeps trying to climb up on me. Yeah, so I'm gonna share this screen. God damn it! Just like I said. All right. Hold on. I am going to share my. All right. Sorry. Hold on. Out. All right. Let's try to keep it close, but she's not making it easy. Application window. Okay. Share. All right. So earlier, yesterday, we were demoing the idea of having groups. So this page is like, it's actually just a feed, but like it has like a fixed list of people who show dimensions. Like everyone who sent a dimension to this page, I've received it, but it's like a fixed list of people whose post will appear on the page, which is basically sort of my nickname cache / address book right now. So those are the people who would show up here. There was asking anybody to post to see who would post, and also to see like I tested the whitelist and whatnot, but yeah. The one nice thing about this page is that you can like directly subscribe to it as an H feed. So like if there's like if I was like at an event and like there was like a general like something about cookies, like I'm following bakers, I can show them on this list and they can make their posts in real time. You can see them all here. Yeah, very simple, straightforward. I am going to stop screen sharing now. Okay. That's it.
Awesome. Very cool. Let's see here. Looks like we don't have anyone up next in the queue, so who would like to go next?
I don't have much to show, but I can show what I have.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. So I mainly just worked on a IndieWebCamp module for Node that Marty sort of forked from my own micropub module that kind of had some of the logic in it already. And it's very basic, but we'll get it up on NPM at some point so other people can use it, and it makes using IndieWebCamp a bit easier in Node or anyway, or in JavaScript. Let's see if I can show it off. Okay, let's share the screen. Share. Okay, and we shall look at this. So the demo is very, very beautiful. So the main issue with my implementation was it wasn't following redirects. So I've made a very convoluted page that has a whole load of redirects. So I think it has about 3 redirects. Some are temporary, some are permanent. And then if I try and log in using that one, it's not really going to do much, but it will actually follow it correctly. So it got the me value is to the redirected page, but the actual micropub endpoint it'll find from the other page if it exists, blah, 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 blah. So that's all I've done so far. The other thing I started working on only about an hour ago, so I didn't have too much time, was the idea of a micropub client to post a whole load of different post types. So I've not really got very far with that. I've got to the point where you can put in, you can log in, and that's about it. I need to actually get it to pull from the big list of post types, so I'm trying to get that to generate proper JSON, and then I can pull all that and then just pipe it through into a million micropub requests, and yeah, and then people can start using it to test their whatever they're building. And yeah, that's me so far.
Awesome. I think, David, do you want to go ahead and go? I think you're the last one in the Hangouts that hasn't demoed yet.
Okay. Don't have very much visual, but I did do something that you could actually see. A lot of the stuff I did you can't see. So last night I deployed a new version of Postkinds, but I'm going to show you what it looks like on my demo site, just so you can see the visual part of it. It's actually helpful. Let's see, where's that screen sharing button? I should have looked for that.
Okay, if you move your mouse, it should be on the left.
Yeah. So this is my development site where, as I promised in the WordPress discussion, I would make it so that if you posted an event from MicroPub, it would actually show. Not a very impressive display, but it shows. So there's a test event that was posted from Indigenous. Here's another one down here that was posted from Quill. And in between, I had some extra time, so I also made it display the itinerary post type that's available in Quill. So I put in some, well, those are real flights, but I'm not on them. As you might guess by the fact that I'm not at the airport right now, I'm instead with you guys. So this is my itinerary display. It's the simplest one I could come up with, but it does now actually work if I wanted to use it. And the rest of my time involved doing a bunch of bug fixes with Parse This, which is my combination parser and post-processor, and clearing out a bunch of bugs, including, let's see, what was it? Somebody mentioned that it didn't work properly with PubMed, so I started looking at various sites and making sure that it could extract all sorts of useful data. So it's a combination of, let's see now, microformats. If it can't find microformats, it falls back to Open Graph. If it can't find any Open Graph, it falls back to JSON LD. So it will just keep looking for any sort of markup and turning it into JF2 so that it can actually display some form of preview. And I don't give up so easily, so every time somebody changes the markup, I just keep trying to find a way to extract a name, an author, and if I'm lucky, a photo. So that's basically what I did in the last 48 hours.
Awesome. Looks great. Thanks, David. Alrighty. I think that brings us to the end of IndieWebCamp Online. So thanks for coming, everyone who's here and everyone who has kind of been doing it asynchronously and just working on their own projects and watching the videos after the fact. So yeah, thanks for coming, guys. And anyone who's in here or watching on YouTube or anything, of course, you can always join the IndieWeb at indieweb.org/discuss to be able to chat through things. And have a great day.